Welcome to our channel Psyverge. Why is it that when you're available, you're ignored, but the moment you withdraw, suddenly you're admired? Why does denying lust, something so primal, so human, command more respect than indulging in it? And why do people seem to chase you harder the less interested you appear? The answer is buried deep in human psychology, but also in the cold, calculating realism of one of the most controversial thinkers in history, Niccolò Machiavelli. Machiavelli didn't care much for ideals. He focused on power, influence, and the mechanics of human behavior. He wasn't interested in what should be. He was obsessed with what is. And when it comes to desire, especially lust, he saw it for what it is, a vulnerability, one that can be exploited, manipulated, and weaponized, not just by others, but by yourself, if you know how. Here's the dark truth Machiavelli would have pointed out. When you deny lust, you instantly position yourself as someone who's in control. In a world where people are ruled by their urges, by swipes, likes, flings, and dopamine loops, someone who says no to lust doesn't just appear disciplined, they appear powerful. Power, in the Machiavellian sense, is about leverage, and nothing gives you more leverage than the ability to walk away from what everyone else is chasing. People think lust makes them desirable, but often it makes them disposable. Lust is everywhere, easy to access, easy to give. That's exactly why it's rarely respected. But when you withhold what's expected, when you create absence instead of availability, you start to flip the script. You become the exception. You become the one they can't figure out. And what we can't figure out, we obsess over. In Machiavellian terms, being ruled by your desires makes you predictable, and being predictable makes you weak. But when you're disciplined, when you deny what others assume you'll chase, you're no longer just another player in the game. You're the one bending the rules, and people respect that far more than they'll ever admit. Now, here's where psychology kicks in. Humans are wired to want what they can't have. It's a basic scarcity principle. We don't just desire the object. We desire the value of it. When something is withheld, our brain inflates its worth. Denying lust taps directly into that mechanism. You create scarcity, and with it, demand. But the moment you start giving it away freely, it becomes common. And common things are never admired. They're used. This is where Machiavellian strategy becomes so effective. By denying lust, you become an object of fascination. You trigger curiosity, frustration, even obsession. People begin to project meaning onto your restraint. They assume you must be special, more intelligent, emotionally above the rest. But in truth, you're simply using psychological positioning, and it's brutally effective. The person who's controlled by lust is always chasing, always needy. And neediness, especially when it's visible, kills power. It screams, "I lack." But denial flips that completely. It projects, "I already have." And Machiavelli knew. The perception of power often matters more than power itself. People will follow those who seem fulfilled, not those who beg. We often think being desired gives us control, but the real control lies in being able to be desired, and choosing not to be. That's where your image starts to become untouchable. You're no longer playing the same game as everyone else. You're not reacting to impulses. You're guiding them. And when people sense that, their perception of you changes completely. They might not say it aloud. They might even criticize you for being cold or unavailable. But underneath that, there's a quiet respect forming. Because deep down, everyone knows how hard it is to control desire, to override biology, to not act on impulse. When you do that, and keep doing it, you don't just earn their interest. You earn their respect. Not the loud kind, the quiet kind that lingers. Machiavelli also understood the importance of mystery. He believed that showing too much makes you vulnerable. That overexposure erodes authority. Lust demands exposure. But restraint preserves mystique. And mystery, in human relationships, is pure currency. It's the unknown that keeps people coming back. There's a harsh paradox here. The more you give, the less you're valued. But the more you hold back, not out of arrogance, but out of principle, the more people begin to question themselves around you. They wonder what makes you different, why you're not chasing what they're chasing, and in their search for answers, they start to see you differently. In today's world, filled with instant gratification, denial is rare, and anything rare becomes a source of fascination. Just like Machiavelli would advise a ruler to be feared rather than loved if he cannot be both, the modern version might be this: be respected rather than desired, if you can't be both, because respect endures long after attraction fades. Of course, this isn't about suppressing your humanity. It's not about living like a monk. It's about recognizing the power in delayed gratification, in not acting on every impulse, in becoming immune to the bait that so easily controls others. When you reach that point, you become unshakable. And that's exactly what Machiavelli admired. Not virtue, but strength. So, why do they only respect you when you deny lust? Because that's the moment you stop being ordinary. You stop being predictable. You stop being one of them. You rise above instinct and signal that you're playing a different game. One where you're not the hunted, but the hunter. Not reactive, but strategic. Think about the people who've commanded your admiration over time. Was it the ones who chased attention, or the ones who seemed unaffected by it? We often romanticize the emotionally detached, the stoic, the mysterious. Not because they're better, but because they remind us of something we wish we could be. In control. Control in Machiavellian thinking isn't about dominance through brute force. It's about perception. And nothing alters perception more deeply than restraint. That's the irony. The less you indulge, the more power you project. And the more power you project, the more others are drawn in, even if they don't understand why. The truth is, most people are desperate to be chosen. But if you can be the one who doesn't need to be chosen, the one who doesn't fold to every craving, the one who can sit with desire and not act on it, you become the chooser. And people always respect the chooser more than the one trying to be chosen. This isn't just cold philosophy. It's observable in every relationship dynamic. The person who needs less always has more leverage. The one who can walk away always sets the rules. The one who's not addicted to attention controls the spotlight, and the one who denies lust becomes the object of it. So next time you feel that pull, that need to prove your desire, to chase approval, to give in quickly, pause. Recognize that this moment is a test, not of morality, but of strategy. A test to see whether you'll be just another player, or the one who writes the rules. Machiavelli didn't believe in fairy tales. He believed in outcomes. And the outcome of denying lust, when done with clarity, not bitterness, is simple but powerful. Respect. Not the superficial kind, but the kind that makes people adjust their posture when you enter the room. The kind that makes others think twice before underestimating you. In a world full of thirst, be the well that doesn't overflow. In a world full of craving, be the one who's not starving. Because they only respect you when you don't need their validation, when you don't need their approval. And most of all, when you don't need them. That's the Machiavellian truth behind denying lust. It's not repression. It's power.